We were talking about different types of factoring, and we want to be able to factor trinomials in the form ax squared plus bx plus c, and we want to use special product patterns to factor polynomials. But whenever we're doing any factoring, the first step is we want to look for common factors. So that will be the easiest way to factor as we go forward. So we're looking for common factors between the coefficients and the variables. So basically what we want to do is we want to try to see what all of these terms are divisible by. So here I'm just going to put a divide sign and I'm going to say just look at the coefficients. We have 10, 15, and -5. And what do all those have in common? Hopefully we can see that these are all divisible by 5. The next thing we look at is the first variable next to the first coefficient. So here we have a cubed. And we have to make sure that each term has an a in it. So here we have a squared, and here we have a to the first. So they all have, each term has at least one a in it. So we can take the smallest variable out. So here we have a to the smallest degree. So here we have a to the third degree, a to the second degree, and here we have a to the first degree. So we can factor a single a out. And the same thing, we look to if there's any more variables. Here we have a b squared. Here we have a b to the first, and here we have a b cubed. So again, the smallest degree is something that we can factor out. So the smallest degree is right here. That's b to the first. So now we can rewrite this after we've factored out the 5ab. So we write 5ab out front of a parenthesis, and then we have to figure out what is going to be left inside. So if we say 10a to the third b squared, and that's going to be divided by 5ab. So these are both divisible by 5. So I can divide the denominator by 5, divide the numerator by 5, and what are we left with? In the denominator, that goes to 1, and in the numerator, that goes to 2. Then we have a to the third divided by a, so really that's like saying a divided by 1a. So 1a in the numerator cancels with 1a in the denominator, and then we're left with just a squared in the numerator. So that'd be a squared. Then we can look at the b value. So we have 2 b's in the numerator, and we have 1 b in the denominator. So our b cancels our b, and we're left with just 1 b. Okay. Next thing we can look at is 15a squared plus or times b. So then we have 15a squared times b, and that's still going to be divided by 5ab. Again, we can divide both coefficients by 5. So 5 divided by 5 becomes 1, and 15 divided by 5 becomes a positive 3. So then we can put our plus 3. And then we can look at our a values again, and we have 2 a's in the numerator, a, and we have 1a in the denominator. So our a and our a cancel, and we're left with just 1 a value. Then we value, and we have 1b in the numerator divided by 1b in the denominator, and the b and the b cancel, so that becomes, they cancel each other out, so it's just 1, but we don't have to write it in there. And then the last one we can look at is we have a negative 5ab cubed, and we're still dividing that by 5ab. So if we look at the coefficient, these are both divisible by 5. So we're going to divide by 5, divide by 5. Our 5's in the denominator cancel, and then in the numerator, we have a negative and 5 and a 5. So the 5's cancel, but we're still left with the negative 1. So we can put the negative sign there, and we don't write the 1. We just leave it as understood that there's a 1 there. Then we can look at our a values. So we have a divided by a divided by a. That's also 1. We don't have to write it there right now. We can see if we're going to have any b values left. And then we have b to the third, which means b times b times b divided by b. So the b's cancel, and we're left with b squared, or 2b's there, b squared. And then that is as factored as we can get right now.